Restore Thrive, we're back talking about swing faults. Thanks for joining us again, guys. Today we're going to talk about one that we see with a lot of golfers, but that isn't discussed very much. It's what we call early extension. And this is what we consider the #1 cause of low back pain in golf. Because if you early extend, meaning that I get into the top of my backswing, and as I'm coming down to impact, my hips are extending towards the ball, what I'm doing is I'm changing the shape of my spine, and as I'm rotating and extending, I'm closing down that trail side of my spine here. So for a right-handed golfer, if you're a right-handed golfer and you have right-sided low back pain, it's a good bet that you're early extending. You get in here, and instead of saying bent forward, keeping your hips back at impact, you're bringing your hips forward, and you're closing down that right side of your low back, which is just smashing those joints together, and over time, just irritating the heck out of your low back. So this is one worth mastering, not only for consistency in ball striking, but in terms of longevity playing golf as well. If you're going to preserve your spine, you've got to be able to control your hips as you're going down to impact to strike the ball. So what we want to give you guys today is 2 exercises that you can do to actually work on rotation of the hips and staying back with your hips, so that as we're coming down to the ball, our hips are rotating instead of extending towards the ball. The first one, we're going to grab our functional movement trainer band here. This is just a long stretch band that's got handles on both sides, and we're going to do what we call a squat with extension challenge. So the main idea with this exercise here is that I want to get into a squat. This looks pretty similar to your golf swing. You're going to sit back with your hips, hinge forward from your waist, keep your back straight, brace your abs. You're going to grab hand over hand on the band here. You're going to bring your arms in front of your body. Now what will happen if you're not braced and you're not using your abdominals and your glutes to hold this position, as you pull up, you'll start to stand up and extend your hips. So you've got to be really engaged through your middle as you pull your arms up and down. And you can see we don't need to bring our arms very high to create that challenge to keep ourselves in that forward bent position. And that's critical as we're coming down to impacting your golf swing. Another simple drill that we can do is to really reinforce that rotation of the hips, so there's more twist from side to side, and there's not that component of forward and backwards, closer to and farther away from the ball. So what we've got here is just another simple jump stretch band tied to the squat rack. We're just going to step in here. We're going to step back until we feel a little resistance. Now if I got into my golf stance here and just crossed my hands over my shoulders, so I don't have to worry about swinging my arms. At a base level, what we want to see with your hips is if we drew a vertical line that made contact with your rear end here, as I go into my backswing as a right-handed golfer, my right hip is going to push through that vertical line. When I start to make that move down towards the ball, I'm going to shift my weight to the left. I'm going to start to rotate with my upper body, and my left hip is going to push through that vertical line, replacing my right hip on the line there as I get to impact. With early extension, what we see is you never get that right hip, or that left hip, excuse me, into the line there. We simply get pulled forward as we're trying to make contact with the ball. So give those 2 exercises a try. Our squat with extension challenge, stay bent forward, bring your arms up without extending your hips or standing up, and then work on that resisted hip rotation as well. Those 2 things are going to start to ingrain better patterns of movement through your hips, create better stability through your trunk and your pelvis, and help you be a better ball striker. We hope you guys find these things helpful. We'll talk to you again next week.